Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Hub back in the video today, and today the Houston Texans have made a splash signing. And look, I'm someone who completely was, to be honest, disappointed in day one of free agency, and what the Texans have done today, it is. I'm very impressed. I don't have a lot of words for it. Joe Mixon, adding him in at the running back, to be the new starting running back. I got to say, it stressed me out a lot. Seeing all the running backs fall off the board, and then even this morning, Derrick Henry goes to the Ravens and Aaron Jones goes to the Vikings. What were we gonna do? And we picked up Joe Mixon, but losing out on guys like Blake Cashman and Jonathan Grenard on the defensive side, that really hurt us too. And seeing guys like Christian Wilkins, a guy the Texans had interest in, and other players the Texans had interest in at the linebacker and defensive end position, start to sign with other teams. It was not a great day for agency day one. I felt like there were some solid moves, like bringing in Tommy Townsend to be the punter. I really like that move. There were a couple other moves in day one, like Azeez Al-Shahir. I thought that was a really good signing, and even Danico Autry. But this Danielle Hunter signing for the Houston Texans, signing him to a 2-year, $49 million deal, $48 million is guaranteed. This is the best move of the offseason so far. And I don't, unless there is some crazy trade unless there's some crazy trade the Texans make, this is the best move of the offseason by far. And I love this move. Now, I am wondering, what will Danielle Hunter, what will he be playing for us? What position is he going to play? Is he going to play outside linebacker for the Texans, or is he going to play defensive end? Reason I question that is because the Texans already signed a guy like Danico Autry. Danico Autry, by the way, had 11 and a half sacks that Danico Autry had for the Tennessee Titans last season. That's not as good as what we saw Danielle Hunter do last year, having 16 and a half sacks in 17 games with 17 starts. But I'm thinking, look, he's been playing outside linebacker the last couple seasons, but before that, he played defensive end. So he played 2015. He's been with the Vikings since 2015. He played defensive end from 2015 through 2021. Then he switched to outside linebacker in 2022 and has played that the last two seasons. Now, if I were the Texans, I would probably start Will Anderson Jr. and Danico Autry as the two defensive ends, and then keep Danielle Hunter as an outside linebacker. But also, another note to make, you also signed Azeez Al-Shahir, who's an outside linebacker, who I would think, with him getting 3 years, $34 million, is, going to start. So, Danielle Hunter, he's a great player though, but I think it is going to be interesting to see whether the Texans want to use him as an outside linebacker or defensive end. So he, in 17 games, 17 starts last year, he had 2 passes deflected with 4 forced fumbles, 16 and a half sacks, 83 tackles, and 23 tackles for loss with 22 QB hits. 2022, he was a Pro Bowler. 2023, he was a Pro Bowler as well. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He played all 17 games with 17 starts. He had 3 passes deflected, 1 forced fumble, 10 and a half sacks, 65 tackles, and 12 tackles for loss. 2020 was a little bit of a rough year. He only played 7 games, had an injury problem, but in those 7 games, he did have 6 sacks. So that was really good. 2019, he was a Pro Bowler, played all 16 games with 16 starts, 3 forced fumbles with 1 fumble recovery, which he returned for 4 yards with 14 and a half sacks, 70 tackles, and 15 tackles for loss. 2018, he played 16 games with 16 starts. He had 1 fumble recovery, which he returned for 32 yards, which was a touchdown, and he had 14 and a half sacks, and also 72 combined tackles and 21 tackles for loss. So this is by far the best addition for the Houston Texans all offseason, but I like what they're doing. I like the additions defensively with Danielle Hunter, Danico Autry, and Azeez Al-Shahir. Those are some great additions, and I think it really, truly does make up losing out on guys like losing out on guys like Blake Cashman and Jonathan Grenard defensively, 2 guys that left the Texans. And then adding in Joe Mixon, it makes the loss of Devin Singletary feel a lot better. And if you want to cover every loss that the Texans have had, Tommy Townsend, adding him in as the punter, it makes that Cameron Johnston loss, as him going to the Steelers as their new punter. I think these are some great replacements we are seeing right here. We're seeing Danielle Hunter and Aziz Al-Shahir. If Danielle Hunter is playing outside linebacker, we're seeing both of those guys replace the void of Blake Cashman. And if Danielle Hunter is playing defensive end, he's going to fill the void of John Grenard. And also Joe Mixon replacing Devin Singletary. So I think the Texans are doing a really good job. And look, the names I just mentioned, Joe Mixon, Tommy Townsend, Danielle Hunter, Danico Autry, Aziz Al-Shahir, those are not the only additions of the Texans off season so far. They have also added in guys like Foley Farakowski. They also added in Mike Ford, cornerback. They also added in Jeff Okudah, brought back Lonnie Johnson, who was on the team from 2019 through 2021. So they've made other additions besides the top 5 moves I've mentioned. So also there's other moves like bringing back guys like Noah Brown and Dalton Schultz offensively, re-signing those 2 guys, and Kaimi Farenbairn. So I think the Texans are doing a really good job so far this offseason, and I'm going to give them A- right now. I think there's some more work that can be done to improve this roster, though. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the signing in the comment section, and peace out. Go Texans.